Joining us during this segment of Life as You Own It, I have the lovely and talented Felicia McDougald. Welcome, Felicia.
Thank you so much.
She is the principal and owner agent of Midwest Professional Insurance Services.
Yes.
She is a frequent guest because, well, sometimes she has to step in if my buddy Craig is just feeling under the weather or just isn't up to the task. So thanks again for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Today we're going to talk about, the music that played when we came back. Well, we all may recognize that. That's none other than, who is that?
Tim McGraw.
Tim McGraw. Live
Tim
like you were
McGraw.
dying. Hopefully you are living like you're dying,
Yep.
and hopefully you are not dying just yet. You know, I got to think about it. Actually, we are all dying just a little bit
It's a
every
little
day, aren't we,
morbid
as
of
we
a
get older?
thought, isn't it?
Yeah, just a little.
A little depressing.
Cells die, but it's just, we're all moving closer towards that day whenever we will depart this earth. And well, what we don't want is financial stress for our friends and loved ones. And
That's
one way
correct.
of accomplishing that is understanding what it's going to cost to put you in the ground. Felicia?
Very little for you. Just going to
Possibly.
put you in there.
You
No,
put
right
me-
now, average people pay about $10,000 for a simple burial.
What all does that consist of?
That consists of a simple marker, so headstone, the casket, wooden casket, nothing too fancy,
Okay.
plastic liner. It goes around
Plastic?
their vault. Yeah, you can get. You know what? You have to check with the cemeteries and see what they will
I mean,
allow.
I guess plastic would work.
Yeah.
Plastic's going to
They
work
do
as good as
plastic.
anything.
It's pretty standard. They have metal ones, but they're not allowed at all cemeteries, and some of them require certain materials in those as well, so that
Okay.
the ground doesn't fall in over time and things like that. So
Okay.
a lot of things to consider there. So.
And your funeral expense for me is probably going to be whatever it costs you to get one of those 55-gallon contractor bags,
Oh
right?
my gosh, don't start.
And then whatever the gas is to
light it on
drive
fire.
or drive it out into the field. You may or may not, just jump me in the Missouri River.
There are some interesting costs on there too. For about $200 now, you can do a DNA test that they'll keep for you, and there's some all different stuff, special epitaphs and things like that. So anyway, look into it. Take a little bit of time. Pretty stressful to do at the time of interment or death. So that's what we're going to talk about today, folks, is taking care of this ahead of time. I know it's morbid, but it will ease a lot of people's stress and pain.
Okay, so we know it's kind of expensive, $10,000 on average.
We do.
And you said
Yep.
you went to a site to get your...
I did an analysis of mine, yeah.
What was the site? Let's share it with the listeners.
It was funeralwise.com.
Funeralwise.com.
That's right,
You can run
yeah.
an average what it'll cost to bury you. And
Very
I'm amazed.
simple
You said yours
calculator.
was $10,000 and something?
Well, that was
Whatever.
what I will
To
actually
build a
get.
mausoleum with gold inlay, not going to be $10,000.
That wasn't an option, folks.
Okay, real quickly, tell our listeners what are some options for them to help cover the expense.
Okay, there are different types of funeral insurance.
Okay.
And you're going to hear this, folks. There's 3 different types. There's pre-need, which is generally that contracted directly with the funeral home.
Okay.
Wouldn't suggest that unless you know exactly where you want to be interred or you want your family member to be interred.
Buried.
Buried.
Come on, speaking words I can understand.
Final expense insurance. This can be given to any funeral home. So this is probably what I would recommend. It's reasonable. You're basically paying to a certain extent, and there's some that are predetermined to go up with inflation with you and some that stay constant. So pay attention there, whether you're going to have $5,000 or it's going to calculate for inflation. And then there's burial insurance, and it is kind of like term insurance. It's a flat amount of insurance that covers a certain dollar amount in a certain amount of time. So it's
Got
the
it.
most restrictive, I'd say.
Good stuff. Generally, what's the cost on those?
You know what? It depends on the person,
amount,
and
and the
depends on the
person.
amount that you want to do. They're very low,
Okay.
very low monthly fee. $20 a month, $10 a month. I mean, it depends on where you're going, the term of the policy. You can pay it over a few years. You can pay it over more. So if they want to give us a call, you can go to Funeral Wise, and they have some quoting stuff on there as well. But if you'd like to give our insurance company a call, we can quote it for you too.
All right, you can find that information on the website, folks. Anything else we want to share about insurance policies, burial insurance policies,
what?
pre-need insurance, any of that?
Yeah. One thing I wanted to share with your listeners today, and thank you for allowing me to do it, is if you want your final wishes to be followed, so we have a lot of different cultures, a lot of different religions here. If you know you want to be cremated, but your family can't handle that possible thought, this is a great way to ensure that what you want takes place. Also, if you have older, aging parents, and you don't want it to be on your dad, let's say, when your mom passes, this is a way for you to take care of it ahead of time. It is done. Everything is pre-planned out, and you really just get the chance to grieve and or celebrate this person's life when it happens. Imagine planning a funeral in 3 days. So it's hard to do. It'd be like planning a wedding in 3 days. So it's much easier if you take care of this.
Okay, and tell me real quickly, where do you want to be buried? How do you want to be buried? We've discussed this. You want to share with the listeners?
I don't have enough time. I
Oh
want
my
some-
God, you don't have time.
I want something that outlasts me. So I want a fountain in Loose Park or something people can go visit 200 years from now and go, who was this person?
Something I can go visit 200 years from now?
Yeah, that'd be great.
I look forward to it. I'm
Okay.
going to miss you when you're gone.
Oh, thanks.
And we're going to miss you, listeners. Keep on hanging out with us. Life as you own it.